it's not coming home. This is the video I didn't want to make, but it'd be churlish not to make it. So I'm trying to look forward to the future. There's lots of positives and a platform to build on. But before I do all that, I think it's important to acknowledge that, first of all, the guys did really, really well and a massive effort, that we were almost there. We had our chance. The free kick that put us one up was amazing. And the short version is, we should have killed it off in the first half. We could have been 2 or 3-0 up, and we didn't. We missed our chances, and they took theirs. And the two moments that really epitomise this is their first goal. They beat Walker. You know, the guy got his foot round where Walker was going over his head, and Walker's a right back, not a centre back, and he just wasn't aware there was a guy. Later on in the game, Trippier put in an excellent first time cross on the volley. Harry Kane dived in with his head, and Lovren cleared it with his foot. And Lovren is a centre back. And those two sort of incidents kind of highlight the difference. They defended better and they took their chances better. And that's why they're in the final, and that's why we're not. But anyway, I've done a new doodle because we've got 2 years until the Euros. So what I've done here is a mind map like normal. I've kind of reviewed what happened. I've talked a bit about Euro 2020 straightforward. I've mentioned club football again because that's really important. That's how we get our experience. Talking about our improved system of play, our existing players. Most of them are going to be available. New players, a little bit about luck, and also mention other teams. I know that everyone wants to spend lots of time thinking about this, so I've actually done the analysis. I'm just going to talk through the results. So we've got our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. And it still looks really positive, yeah? There's a lot of strengths, a lot of opportunities. There are weaknesses and there are threats. And it's important to be honest, because if we're not honest, we can't do anything about it. If we try and pretend that we were perfect, then we're just not doing ourselves any favours. And clearly we weren't perfect because we're not in the final. If we were perfect, we would have won it. I find the chart the easiest way of doing this. So let's go to the chart. We can see it here. I'm going to go through each SWOT item in turn. So I'll start with strengths. All right, so there's a lot of things to be really positive about. First of all, our best performance for 28 years. And technically, and I'm recording this on Friday morning, if we win the third place playoff, it'll be our best result since 1966. Because in 1990 we lost the playoff. Now the playoff's a funny thing because no one really wants to play it. Harry Kane wants to play it because he's probably won the Golden Boot, but he wants to make sure that he's won the Golden Boot. I think Gareth Southgate might play a few of the players who haven't had much time so far, including the goalkeepers. So it'll be interesting to see if he goes with the strongest team to try and win it, or if he tries to give some of the squad players some experience. And there's an argument for both, because giving those guys an experience, again, will be fruitful for future tournaments. Anyway, some of the other big pluses. First penalty win, amazing. You know, never happened in the World Cup, happened once in the Euros against Spain, and then obviously we lost in that same tournament against Germany. Team spirit, been fantastic. You know, from the outside, it's very hard to argue against that. Everyone seems to be putting together. Strong set pieces, absolutely. I think 80% or maybe 70% now of our goals came from there. I put here first semi outside of England. That's not actually true. I forgot. The one in 1990 was in Italy. But it's important that we have done well outside of England. We've never got in the semi-final in the Euros, but obviously we did it once in the World Cup. What else have we got here? Great bringing the ball out. Yeah, no, I think that's really important as well. The big plus for our defence is that we just seem to be really good at and confident about playing the ball around at the back. We have defensive flaws, but I'll cover one of the other sections. Fantastic goalkeeper. I don't think he made a single mistake. Some people said he should have done better in the first Belgium game. Personally, I think it was an incredibly good strike, and nothing you could do about it. I don't think anyone's questioned any of the other goals. Brilliant. Not only did he not make any mistakes, he actually kept us in a few games with some fantastic saves. especially in the last game, but also against Sweden. In fact, throughout the tournament, he's made some great saves. So lots of strengths, that's very positive. Weaknesses, again, we need to be honest here. So not enough goals from open play. We need to sort that out. Being great at set pieces is fantastic, but you need more than one string. And we did get a few goals from open play, but not enough. And again, that's what cost us against Croatia. Harry Kane perhaps could have squared it, but I can understand why he's shot, because he's Harry Kane and he's in good form. But he missed, and then he missed the follow-up. Follow-up hit the post. You know, an inch the other way, it'd been 2-0, and we'd probably be looking forward to Sunday. Too many goals conceded. You know, apart from Sweden, we conceded at least one goal in every game. Obviously, 2 against Croatia. We also have a bad initial reaction to losing the lead. So when we played Colombia, they scored in like the 3rd minute of injury time, so we went straight into extra time. And we were poor in the first half of extra time. We were actually much better in the second half. And again, against Croatia, we kind of lost our way a bit. And we need more resilience. We need to better cope, because, well, just look at Croatia. You know, they conceded against us. They also conceded against Russia in the previous round, and yet they're in the World Cup final. So top teams can handle setbacks, and we didn't do that particularly well. And fatigue late on in games. I don't know if this is a fitness issue. I don't know if we've got our logistics wrong. I know that the team got back 6 o'clock the following morning. Now that might have been because they're in the playoff, and I think that might be in St. Petersburg as opposed to Moscow. But either way, yeah, that's something that can be worked on. But I don't think it's just that, it's the fitness regime. And we've talked about the winter break, and that's in the opportunities, I think. Anyway, opportunities, let's find out if it is in there. Right, there are lots of opportunities. Right, so where to start? Okay, well, this for me is the most positive. You know, we won the under-17s and the under-19s World Cup last year. That's amazing. Some of those players will be coming through. There's already reports in the paper that Southgate has picked out 4. Phil Foden was particularly good at the World Cup for the under-17s. And it's Ryan Sessegnon, I think, at Fulham, who's doing really well. He'll be in the Premiership next year with Fulham, unless he gets bought by someone else. Liverpool also have Ryan Brewster, who was a top goal scorer at the Under-17 World Cup. So what else that's quite interesting is that the next Euros is across country Euros. So I think there's 12 or 13 nations hosting various games. But the good news for us is that the semi-finals and the final will be at Wembley, and some of the other games as well. So if England do progress, they're going to have home advantage. And we know how important that is, especially for England, because well, until now, and I say apart from Italia 90, we've done our best stuff at home. We have some players injured, hopefully they're available. I think the Ox was a big miss. Lallana might have been useful coming on the bench. We definitely were missing something in midfield. We didn't quite get that balance right. Re-engagement of fans, you know, everyone's seeing it's coming home. That's really good news. People have sort of fallen out of love with England. Not with football. Club football's never been stronger, but with England, people have definitely fallen out of love, or had done. Improved media relations, yeah, that's much stronger than it ever has been. We've got fringe players come through, so by that I mean players from within the squad, like Trent Alexander-Arnold. He'll be pushing Trippier really close, although for me Trippier is one of the best players from the England team. Our system of play is a lot better. It's interesting. Southgate only introduced us after we qualified, so we had I think 4, maybe 5 friendlies beforehand. So we haven't used it that much. I'm pretty sure that he'll use that going forward for the next lot of qualifiers. And that should bode well because we've become more accustomed to it. And things like Walker not really being used to playing centre-back, you know, hopefully he'll get used to it. And he'll be more aware of the other guys around him. I think that's kind of mainly it. The Premier League, yeah. We just need to acknowledge that, I mean, it's a kind of double-edged sword, the Premier League, because it's quite a low percentage of England players in the Premier League, so it's hard for England players to get experience. But when they do break through, they're playing against some of the best players in the world. And the same for the Champions League. In fact, the Champions League for me is more important. Champions League teams are better than national teams. Liverpool would have beaten Croatia. Real Madrid would have beaten Croatia. If you take away the fact that Lovren and what's the name, Modric plays for Croatia. If there are two of them, some sort of fantasy world. And we still didn't fully click. We massively improved, but we didn't fully click. And if we ever do manage to fully click, then we can be really, really dangerous. And finally, threats. Again, not so many of these, but there are some, of course. Right, the biggest one is that the other teams will improve. France are already incredibly strong, and I think they've even got a younger squad than us, only fractionally. They've got players like Mbappe, who amazingly wasn't born when France won the World Cup 20 years ago. He can only miss it by a few months, but yeah, he's under 20, and obviously they may win it on Sunday. They're probably the favourites. We might get more injuries in the future. I think we almost certainly will be. But it's just how bad they are. Unlikely to get as kind a draw next time. This is kind of true and not true. The Euros is a weaker competition at the beginning because there's 32 nations all from Europe. So the group stage should be fine. And also there's this weird thing whereby the best third place teams go through as well. Portugal had 3 draws in the group stage and somehow managed to qualify, and then they grew and managed to win the whole thing last time. But later on in the knockout phase, it's almost as strong as the World Cup. Europe has dominated this World Cup. Argentina didn't do very well. Brazil went out in the quarterfinal stage. Uruguay as well. Uruguay, I think, a little bit unlucky because they had a big injury. But yeah, it's still going to be tough. And the other one is historically we don't always do well, compared to the World Cup. Apart from Euro '96, we've never really done that well in the Euros. We've never got close apart from that one time. We often go out the group stage. Iceland wasn't a blip. It's something that happens far too often. So I don't know why, but something about our mentality needs to change. I understand this historically because 20 odd years ago there were only 8 teams, and then it went to 16, and now it's 32. So when it's a much smaller competition, it really was elite. The very, very best teams. And that kind of started to change when the Soviet Union collapsed, and also had a lot more countries that weren't part of the Soviet Union. So we had to expand the competition, and it keeps growing. Last time was the first time it was a 32-team competition. But we need to work out why we don't do as well at the Euros, and there's no reason for that, especially as a lot of the games are going to be played in England. Anyway, lots of reasons to be positive. There's all kinds of things that we've done for the first time, like winning a penalty shootout. And compared to the last 10, 12 years, it's been a massive leap forward, and we've got a great platform for the future. And yeah, I'm gutted. We could have been in the World Cup final. We had so many chances to get a second goal before Croatia equalised, and we didn't take them. But they did, and that's why they're in the final, and good luck to them. Part of me hopes they beat France, because it's always nice to go out to the eventual winners. Anyway, see you in 2 years' time. Well, not in 2 years' time, I'll talk about other things, but in terms of football, I'll see you in 2 years' time. Thanks.